This is your girl Drika Shine on the Life with Shine podcast. I'm so excited to bring in this topic today. It's something that I feel is very important for us to actually put out there and to really bring awareness to speak about in a very authentic way, from a very authentic place. Um, and this is going to be about healing the mother womb. Okay. Now, we often talk about or hear about, you know, the mother and father archetypes and energies, the masculine and feminine. And I feel this is the very important part when it comes to you understanding your divinity, your femininity as a woman, even just your masculine energy, and just in general, the polarity of the two energies. So, as you continue to evolve, grow, develop, mature, you will find on your journey when you tap into your energetic body, when you start to understand your personal energy, your energy energy body and how it works, you will realize that, a lot of the work you're doing, and when we're speaking about energy, you can think of even just electromagnetic energy, the etheric body, just understanding your own energy source. You go through these layers in your journey, and it's really quite interesting because I feel like the best way that you actually learn and comprehend and gain knowledge is through actual experience. Okay. So your experiences is what develops your wisdom. And so when we're talking about womanhood, femininity, and just really, really deepening in that, just the initiations and the rituals and the journey and the process of it all, you will come to realize that there may be something like the mother womb, which is what we're going to be talking about today. And healing the mother womb really comes from you owning your personal power, you stepping more into your divine essence, your truth, being connected to your heart, the oracle within you as a woman who is quote unquote awakened or self aware, as a woman who is actually doing the inner work to grow and evolve in consciousness, because that is the main purpose here. The main purpose is to evolve in consciousness. And so the more you go into this journey, you will discover where your limitations are, where your conditionings are, where your beliefs stem from. And I will say that what I found, I feel the first thing that I came across when I was kind of experiencing this level of healing was I came across my sister womb, right? So this is all about sisterhood, knowing what that looks like. And then I started to uncover the actual root of it all, and that is the mother womb. So let's talk about what the mother womb can look like and what healing it also looks like, and kind of just a journey in between, right? So let's just dive deeper. And this is definitely based off my personal experience and also confirmation I've received from other information sources that validated or affirmed these experiences. Okay. So when you grow up in a home or in your upbringing where there is an experience of what the term is today, narcissism, right? Narcissistic tendencies or behaviors. And to me, it's just being disconnected from your true self. This is all stems from being disconnected from your authentic true essence. Okay? And so a lot of times, due to survival tendencies, you have to adapt to your environment, what you are around, right? It has an influence on your consciousness. And so when you grow up in a home where there's these strict or restrictive religious practices, uh, religious beliefs, things that may not necessarily be 100% authentic to your truth or authentic to you, right? Because we're giving space for everyone's personal journey and personal experience. But as you go deeper into your personal walk, your personal evolution, because you're doing the inner work, you're not focused on just intellectualism, right? You're not focused on just the mind aspect of spirituality, meaning reading material, reading whatever someone else may be telling you or sharing with you. You're discovering your answers from within. You're getting your answers from your own internal guidance and inner intuition, so to speak. So the more that you start to build that intuition and the trust and that connection and that relationship to your spirit, to your soul, to your spirit guides, your ancestors, and just pretty much the world around you, you start to discover that there is more to spirituality than what you've been trained or taught. Because spirituality is not one dimensional. Spirituality is not just intellectualism, it's not just reading, praying, hoping, wishing, right? There's more to it. And so the more that you do that inner work, you start to discover, wow, there's these layers of things here that I'm actually facing within myself, because my experiences, meaning the scenarios and the situations that are presented to me, because the universe has structured it in such a way for it to reveal what is happening internally. Okay. So when you go through these experiences, and oftentimes when you first go through an experience, you kind of go through it and you're not really quite sure of what is happening. You may have bits and pieces of it, but you don't have the full clarity and understanding most times until you actually go through the experience, until you come out on the other side of it. So throughout the journey, you're still discovering those answers, you're still meeting those answers. And so I knew that I was healed from the mother womb when I was literally able to, number one, recognize the mother womb, and then also have a heart to heart connection where I was able to speak my truth. And to doing so, what I found is that when you're owning your personal power and you're speaking your truth, the oracle in you does not accept bullshit. Simply put, the oracle in you does not accept bullshit. And because of that, because the divine essence that you carry, the light that you hold, due to actually doing the actual work, men and women often fear a powerful woman. Because, and let me tell you why. A powerful woman who's truly in touch with her divine essence, connected to her heart, connected to her truth, and is also in integrity with herself and with God, higher power, source. She is a divine mirror of other people's shadows. She picks up on them, she senses them, and she also reflects them, plays them out, and also do what must be done to correct them. And she does this from a place of love because she's grounded and centered in her truth and in her integrity and in her heart. So this is something that is done naturally. This is not something that she's doing purposely or to be malicious, harmful, or hurtful. Naturally, the oracle is going to pick up on the energy and sense where there is inauthenticity, where there is falsehood, where, and simply put, where there is shadow. And she is going to disrupt and correct said behaviors, beliefs, and shadows. Pretty much, they're going to be exposed, they're going to be put out there. Now, this is where people will either be triggered by this because they often don't know that shadow may be running the show. They may not know that shadow is the one that's being uh, expressed or activated or triggered. So when she is doing and moving about, or even just speaking fiercely, that can be triggering and activating because it shows where somebody has been either fragmented or disconnected from their true essence. So her job is to reveal that and expose that to the people in her community. And she does this naturally. I am she and she is me. So this got really, really revealed to me when I got to the point where I had to face my mother wound and shadows. Okay. So this required me to speak my truth, share what was needed to be said in the way that it needed to be said, how it needed to be said, and trusting that my light, my power is doing what it's supposed to do. When you get to a point where you have fully owned your power and you no longer fear being rejected, being, I guess, just feeling like, a person who people don't understand or whatever may be surrounding those beliefs around you holding your power, right? When you get to a point where you no longer play small, you no longer dim your light, you no longer care about how people feel or react to you being in your power, you have healed the mother womb. You have healed the mother womb because you're no longer outsourcing your validation, your acceptance, your love to anything outside of you. You have come to a place in your journey and within yourself where you have placed that responsibility to be all on you. And so this is a beautiful place to be in your level of growth and consciousness because now you can really operate at your fullness. Okay? This is where you begin to operate at your fullness. You begin to operate at your highest capacity because you're no longer operating out of insecurities. You're no longer operating out of insecurities because you now no longer fear your own power because that was a reflection of where you had fear of how you were, showing up. You had fear of your own power. But once you've owned your own power, once you no longer fear and you no longer fear how other people feel about it, you have healed the mother womb because you are an oracle. You are a divine light and guidance. And you are here to show people what true love is. Even in your fierceness, you are connected to your heart. You showing them what true love is because true love is truth. And you stand for the truth. So when people are presenting their shadows and their darkness, you're going to mirror that and you're going to reflect that. You're going to do whatever that looks like and necessary to correct and speak against it, to make sure that people know this is not okay. We cannot continue this behavior. We cannot continue this dynamic in this way if we're going to grow together and evolve, we must call people to higher states of being, higher states of consciousness. And again, this happens naturally because you are doing the inner work. This is not something that you're just out here, oh, let me go for it. No, it's not done from it's coming from nature. This is your natural state of being. So I think it's important as women for us to understand that if we're still seeking validation externally, that if we're still operating out of insecurities, that we're still seeking things outside of ourselves for love, for emotional support, for validation, whatever, that is our responsibility. And when you own that, when you always choose that for yourself, you have healed the mother wound. But if you're still working through that, then let me tell you and point you in the direction you need to go. Face your mother. Face it. Face that you have her beliefs, her conditionings, her ways of thinking. And also, you have to face the spiritual manipulation tactics. You have to also denounce any religious structures and systems that does not align with who you authentically are. Because spirituality is way more than intellectualism. Okay? So I feel like this was important to bring up because this was something that was very recent for me to move through and come out on the other side. And I'm like, oh my God, there are people that needs to know this information, because I can remember a time where I was not able to call this out. I was not able to see this dynamic playing out between me and my mother, because obviously it wasn't time for me to know, because you got to still go through the experiences. And once you go through the experiences, you finally realize how you need to show up, what it is you're facing, what spirits you're coming up against, and how to actually correct it, how to do something about it. So the mother wound is really, really deep. I'm going to say that first, because if you grew up with your mother, like most of us in the Western countries, in America specifically, we have a high chance of single motherhood, right? So our mothers raised us oftentimes, and that's not always the case, but just speaking specifically for myself. Um, and that wound was there since birth, right? That wound was created early on, because if your mother is not connected to her divine essence and her divine truth and her integrity and her heart and all of those things, then you naturally were brought into this world under those systems and under those control and under those conditionings. So as you went about and did your healing work and you worked on yourself and found and discovered your truth, you will find that this mother wound was deep. But once you uproot it, oh my God, I'm telling you guys, the freedom, the light, the lightheartedness. You just feel like you have just struck gold or something. I don't know. I'm just trying to like put it into words what the feeling is. But it's almost like you just know that you've reached another level in your personal power that makes you unshakable, that makes you so certain and solid in who you are, without needing your mother to approve, without needing your mother to say, hey, this is how it should look and this is what it needs to be, right? You have your own individuality. And, you know, I will say that it's also coming from a place of compassion where you can hold space for even where your mother or whoever, where they are, and not need them to be different for you to be who you are. You no longer need them to be, you know, to get or understand you. You just, it just is. It's just like I'm in my power and there's nothing you can do about it. It's unapologetic. And so I think it's just a beautiful thing, um, and a becoming of womanhood that, I don't feel like we have these conversations or dialogue enough. And I feel oftentimes this happens in, close knit community spaces where women of various ages are, able to come together and maybe, exchange energy and information and wisdom. But because we have such a culture today where, a lot of this stuff is not kind of the norm, we have to just spread this information and these conversations so more people can set themselves free and more people can pass it along. Because I know for me, what drove me to this revelation and freedom was because I have a daughter myself. And like I was sharing with my daughter, I said, you remember how our journey was when we had to work through our things so we can heal, and actually what that looked like for us? And she was like, yeah. I said, I'm actually having that experience with my own mother. And she was like, okay then. Like she already know what time it is. And when I go in about healing and elevation, I don't play. I don't play because number one, it's bigger than me. And I know that I need to get what I need from my family structure, my family system, i.e., mother, father, child, children, whoever, so that I can actually up level the generations, the DNA, the bloodline, the ancestry, right? And I will say, guys, through this process, I felt my ancestors guiding me and leading me very heavily. Like my ancestors played a major part in me coming into, who I am today. And I know that there is more because there's always more. We eternal, so there's the work is never finished. But still, just knowing that I'm at this place of peace and knowing that I can stand on my own truth and not be wavered by what my mom's truth and beliefs are, right? I don't have to, they don't have to be the same. Like we can, like, for the longest time, I was like trying to make sure that, emotionally, because if you've grown up where your mom used you as a emotional support, like where you had to be the emotional support, and you pretty much grew up walking on eggshells and tending to, you know, the needs of other people, and, really trying to, I guess, I guess when you heal people pleasing, that's the word. When you've gotten to a point where you're no longer people pleasing, and it's just like, this is who I am, and I'm not here to uphold falsehood. That's just another level of it. You know what I'm saying? So there's another level of freedom there. So I just encourage you guys to just seek those answers within yourself to discover your truth and how it relates to you and the way that it needs to. Because I believe that, each one teach one, and, we all just here to be a guide to one another. Um, Although I'm a teacher, I know I'm always remaining a student and always learning from others. So I am grateful for the journey and to be able to talk about this in the way that I'm able to articulate it today. Because literally months ago, I wouldn't have been able to articulate it in this way. But that goes to show that when you actually actually go through the experiences, then it becomes very much embodied. Okay. So this is about the embodiment work, and knowing that when you are integrating through your experiences, that's what makes you solid. That's what makes you unshakable. Right. So I just encourage you guys to really trust the experiences you're having, pay attention, raise your self awareness. And the number one lesson of it all that I have discovered personally, and this may help you as well as I believe it will, is to always choose you. Always choose yourself. Always put you first. Okay? Everyone has their own personal journey and their personal walk. So I encourage you to always choose yourself. Always choose you. That is the overall lesson. And I pray this blesses you all. So that's what I have so far on the healing the mother wound. And guys, if this has touched you, share this with a friend, share this with a sister, share this with someone, even men. Okay, let me just say, men definitely need to understand the mother wound, because once they heal the mother wound, they're going to be able to unlock another level of their power. They're going to be able to get out of the bad boy energy and the immaturity, right? They're going to be able to step more into their warrior king energy, which is the integrated version of their dark masculine and their actual their light, right? So there's a balance there. So once they're able to integrate and embody with integrity, being connected to their heart, being connected to their truth, okay, that's the indication that they have healed their mother wound. Okay. So again, everything starts and ends with you. So if you want to attract a partner of that level, then you have to yourself embody it, be an energetic match to it. So the work is always about you. Okay. So, guys, I thank you for tuning in. If this blessed you, please leave a comment uh, below and share your thoughts and what touched you most. And always like, comment, and subscribe. And if you'd like to book a personal reading with me, then I will also leave the link to schedule that as well. And thank you guys for tuning in. Until next time, this is Life with Shine. Keep shining. Peace.